Hello.
Hello, how are you tonight?
I am good. Eating some cookies and ready to go.
You made it sound like this is like the ultimate challenge or like reality show. It's really not. I'm drinking water out of a coffee mug, so we have two different processes of working, I guess.
Yeah, I guess.
No kidding. So literally, I saw you maybe a day ago, 24 hours ago to be exact. But otherwise, how have you been during this time?
um, Surviving. It's definitely a challenge. Like I used to always say like, "Oh, I wish I had more free time." And well, now I do. So like be careful what you ask for, I guess. But I've just been trying to like keep myself busy, but like not forcing myself to be like productive necessarily. Like giving myself a break, and being
Yeah.
easy on myself. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, you say about forcing yourself to do work. Is that something that you do quite a lot?
Sometimes I think just like going from being like super productive, like at school and working on shows and everything, um, and like going into this time where I'm just like not doing anything. I think sometimes I just have to like tell myself that it's fine if like every day I'm not like doing stuff, but also I like you know then if I like don't do anything, then I'm like getting into my head. So I'm like, okay, you know what? Today let's like try painting something to like keep yourself like busy somehow. If that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Oh, for sure. I'm very bad at that. Previous people who've been on the show before have said, "Well, you have to make a schedule. Do the night before, make a schedule." And I'm very bad at making the schedule. I do the whole thing before. This is
Yeah.
what I'm gonna do, and then there's a funny YouTube video out. I'm like, "Ooh, that's fun," or
Yeah, I get that.
yeah,
I
or
fall down
ooh,
like a YouTube rabbit hole, and I'm just like, oh, what time is it?
oh, it's
Um,
it's it's 4 o'clock in the morning. What?
exactly.
Yeah, so I fall into this very weird platform of I need to be productive. That's not schoolwork. That's for my own sake. But there's other stuff going on, so I have this tendency to not stick to a script in the worst way possible, I guess.
Yeah, I have like a to-do list, like, I guess, of like it's like things that like home stuff, like cleaning and like schoolwork and like all that, but then also things that like I've been wanting to do in the past and just like haven't gotten around to it. And so it's just like a to-do list that I could like get to like at any time, as opposed to like like a really like strict thing, because then I would like not stick to it, and then I would be like, oh, I didn't like do this at the time that I was supposed to, and then I'll end up like beating myself up. And also like I've been seeing so many people on Instagram being like, oh, like be productive, blah blah blah, but it's like, okay, calm down. Like we're all going through something. Like so it's like emotionally and it's just mentally like exhausting. Even though we're like not doing anything, I feel like so exhausted.
Yeah,
Um, and like a lot of people that I've been talking to like feel the same way, where we're just like, school. Pff, what's that? Like I have zero motivation for that. It's just like all BS. Um, I mean, like it's in some way it is
are
like.
you a senior in college? Are you going to graduate?
No, I'm not. I'm very
Okay.
grateful
Okay,
because
good.
yeah. Oh,
Oh,
I
you have
feel
the senioritis from high school. It still follows you around whenever you go.
I have the corona-itis where I just like, it's just like everywhere you look, it's just like always a corona, and then like thinking about like when is this gonna end, and then like safely, that then like that just like stresses me out, and then like I'm just like, nope, motivation gone. I'm so glad I'm not a senior. I like my heart goes out for all the seniors that are like having so many things like taken away from their last year.
No, yeah. I asked
Yeah.
if you were a senior because it feels like I've talked to a lot of my friends who are seniors, and they say,
Yeah.
the motivation for the work is just gone at this point. It's now
Yeah.
it's more of, well, I need the pass. And so I've told my friends and teachers is
Mhm.
it's hard to enjoy the work now at this point. It's more,
Yeah.
at times it becomes more like a chore.
Exactly.
Yeah. Do you find any enjoyment in these online classes?
Like, I think it's just nice to see like faces of people and like get some sort of connection from that. But mostly, like, no, it just feels like because so many of our classes, especially going to an art school, like don't translate to online,
Yeah.
and we're just like, paying this money to not have our classes done the way they should be, um, and then with everything going on, like it's just all like mixing together where to the point where just like you kind of just like do it because you're like, well, I can't fail. um, and yeah, it does become like a chore, like something you're like having to like physically like force yourself to do,
Yeah.
um, like I said, just surviving and like taking it day by day, like trying to like switch it up so like every day doesn't feel like the exact same day. I feel like I'm just like in an eternal like Groundhog Day, where I'm just like, oh, is it today already? Is it not yesterday? Oh,
Yeah.
what time? And like today, my thing was like, I'm gonna make cookies from scratch and hope that they don't burn, and they turned out great.
Yeah.
So,
What kind of cookies?
oh, chocolate chip.
Okay, standard,
Classic.
real
Yeah,
classic.
a classic. Come on.
Absolutely. Do you do the milk chocolate or the dark chocolate?
Milk chocolate.
Okay, good.
Dark chocolate is bitter. I don't really like it too much. Milk
Thank
chocolate
you.
is, yeah, right. I mean, like, I know dark chocolate's also like better for you and everything,
Oh, but
but
who
like,
cares? We're in the pandemic.
yeah, I mean, even then when I wasn't in a pandemic, I was like, who
Who
cares?
cares? What's more emotionally exhausting for you? Is it the transition to online learning, or it's the idea of we don't know when this is going to end?
I think that like we don't know when this is gonna end because like it feels like so much, of course, is out of our control. Like all we can do is just like stay home, like keep ourselves like like healthy and sane, and like mainly like out of the way for the people that really are more at risk, and hope that like other people are also staying at home. So that this can just end as like soon and as safely as possible. But then again, like we can be doing all the things right and then still have no idea what's going on,
Oh, for
And
sure.
like I know, like I'm like out of a job, because I work at a bar, so like just like figuring out life and everything. And I know a lot of friends are in the same boat as I am, and like we're just trying to like figure out like our lives, but also it feels like life has just stopped, so that like there's not much that we can do. So it's mainly like all that.
Yeah, right.
And like battling existential crises every day,
Oh,
just
yeah.
like oof.
Yeah. Is it? Are you someone who wants the economy to open back up pretty soon? Because there's a lot of reports and states who are ready to just do it. There are protests and rallies going on right
Yeah,
now,
I
which
saw
is
all of that.
frightening.
Yeah, I saw like, oh, especially because like in Florida, because I'm like not from like Miami Beach, but I lived there most of my life, and so I have a lot of people like there that are like talking about the fact that like the beaches are already like opening up, and I'm just like, what? Like, as much as I don't like being like being like basically like unemployed right now, I don't want things rushed
Yeah.
because it just is gonna get so much worse, Like there's a picture of like the beaches in Miami and they're already filled with people, and I'm like, what? Like, what is going on? Like, this is so stupid.
Yeah.
And like the protesters being like, oh, like open up the economy while they're all wearing like masks. It's like, okay, do you like really care, or is it just like your privilege? Like like come on.
Yeah.
So, like, as much as I would love to be back at work, I don't want things rushed, Like, there's a proper way of dealing, especially with something that's like this. It's like people's lives at risk. Like, it's not something you can rush.
Oh, for sure. And not to be
Yeah.
political, but like the states who are open up are all red states, and I know.
Yeah, typical.
I know, not to go there, but
Right.
it's well, whose fault are we gonna blame? Not a shout out to someone.
Yeah, he who shall not be named, who's been posting this weird ass meme stuff on Twitter. Like,
Oh, really? I don't go on
It's like a
Twitter.
video. Oh, good. I mean, Twitter is crazy.
Oh, I'm
But yeah,
sure.
he's been posting all these things that just like pop up randomly on my feed because people like comment on it and like are bashing him, and I'm like, I don't want this on my feed.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but also it's just like a like a train wreck you just can't look away from.
Ooh, I
Also
like
because
that.
it affects so many of us like our daily day lives. You can't help but have to like listen to everything that's going on.
Yeah, for sure. Uh,
Yeah.
so you are a playwright, a very lovely
Yes.
playwright.
Oh, shucks. Thanks.
No problem. I'm not acting because I was witness to hear some of your plays and have read one of your plays last night.
Yeah.
Do
Yeah.
you do you like writing plays during a pandemic, or do you think it's harder to write a play during a pandemic?
I just like so much of my writing comes from like life, like living and like experiences with friends, and so sometimes like right now my motivation like or inspiration more to say like for writing has been a little bit low. So the play that we read last night is a play that I've been working on for a couple like months now, and so I just sort of been like expanding it and working on it so I like don't have to start from like nothing. But it definitely is hard because I just feel sort of like, oh, there's so much more going on. Why am I writing this play? But I think the best way, like, I definitely use writing as therapy. I think art is so powerful and can help us make sense of a lot of the craziness going on. So even if it's just me, like, journaling here and there or whatever, just, like, getting it out helps. And definitely last night, like, doing like the play reading over Zoom was so lovely to hear my words like being brought to life, and also just to like have that sense of like some normalcy, with us joking around and everything. And I've been loving seeing what people have been like doing with their friends, like while social distancing, just like um, the creative ways they've come up to just sort of keep each other like sane and like connected.
Yeah.
So that's been nice to see. But it also, sucks because, like, who doesn't want to go see their friend and, like, a hug? Oh, my goodness. I would
Absolutely.
kill for a hug right now.
Don't you have roommates?
So both of my roommates moved out. Like, they've been planning to move out, like months before all of this happened. And so, like, one moved out towards the beginning of March, and then one moved out, like, a week ago. So since then, I've been alone, which just means that I am awake until 5 a.m. listening to music and blasting it, which is kind of nice. But also, I'm
Yeah.
like, wow, human interaction. I wonder what that's like.
Seriously, like the first time I went on one of these Zoom meetings with our group, the Isolation Station, shout out. I
Shout out.
always gotta do
Please
shout
comment,
outs.
like, subscribe to Isolation Station.
I haven't done that yet, and I realize I probably should.
Gasp, how
I
dare
know,
you.
gas. Shout out Isolation Station, they're great. But the first time we did one of these things, my eyes were open up because I'm like, wow, this is the first time I've seen people who I enjoy seeing who are not my
Right,
family,
yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
very nice just to see different people who aren't my family, who aren't the customers I see every day.
Right.
And it's just nice to have something in common to talk about again, you know?
Right, of course. And, like, we're all, like, no one's not affected by this, well, except for like white rich celebrities that are just living their life, but like we're all like dealing with the same thing, and so it's nice to like when you do like get on these Zoom meetings with friends, it's like everyone like understands. And like we can like talk about it and like like complain, and we can just like rant and be like, oh my goodness, like this sucks, but then we can also like talk about other things and like like lift each other up. And like the amount of times I've told so many of my friends that I love them and that I'm here for them and that they're like awesome and that they're strong, like it's crazy because like I like feel that love, like
Yeah.
for them, because I think like this is all making us realize like so much that we take for granted. Um, just like being able to like touch someone, hug someone is just something like that we did. And I'm Hispanic, so we're hugging and kissing everyone. And like not doing that, we're like, wow, we should like appreciate that so much more. And so I think like through those Zoom meetings, like we realized that, and it's been nice. But definitely like I like the first time I see someone, once this is over, I'm going to hug them like crazy, because it's just going to be so great.
Oh, for sure. Like
Yeah.
if you know Ben Ortiz, I love Ben.
Oh, Ben! I love Ben!
And he was the guy, I've known him for about 2 years now, and him and I just love giving each other hugs.
Yeah.
As someone who had
Hispanic.
yeah, see, off topic. This is how I met him. I thought the way he ate a sandwich was very funny, and so it was a running joke in our realism class that I would just talk about the way he eats a sandwich, and I would say I got in some trouble for that because it made him very uncomfortable.
Ben was like he was in the second show I think I ever did at Columbia, second or third. And once I heard him like speak, I was like in Spanish, like, oh, you speak Spanish, right? And then we just started speaking in Spanish, and he was like the first person that I've met at Columbia that like was like Latino, and like that I could speak Spanish with, and it was so nice. And every time I see him, we are just like speaking in Spanish, and like it's always so nice to have that sort of like we're like language, like Spanish, Espanol, yes.
Yeah.
Well, this is gonna turn into a Ben Love Fest,
And that's okay. I guess I have to send him this episode to know we're still thinking about him.
You do.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
Speaking of Spanish, so talk a little about your play. It's called Psychomotor, the one we read last night. Has this been, how long you been developing this play for?
I started like around November.
Okay.
My friend made me this playlist, and in this playlist there was a song called like Motorcico, which translates to psychomotor. And I remember I was like coming home and I was listening to the song, and it just like it just inspired me so much. Like a lot of like, I think my inspiration comes just from music, and I just like felt it like in the song. And I got home and I just like started writing, and then I just like the first image I had was like these two people like separated by this wall, like talking and like connecting, even though they can't see each other and don't like know each other's names. And then it just sort of went from that, and it turned into what you heard yesterday, just like my love letter, I guess, to like emotions and like being able like into like the strength of being vulnerable and like music, because I love music so much, and I love whenever I get to talk about it in my writing.
Yeah. I will agree, because as I was reading the play, I found just there was this really nice music that I was listening to in the background of my head when reading it. Not like I'm in a therapist's office and they're playing like, all right, you're gonna close your eyes and I'm gonna have this beach music or something like that. I've been to therapy for way too long to know that exists.
Like smooth jazz or something,
Yeah,
like,
and it sucks because I like smooth jazz. Does music make you stronger or more vulnerable, you think?
I like both, like I think there's like such a strength and vulnerability that like definitely like I remember when I was younger I used to be so much more like cold and like emotions guy, like real emo, angsty. And then once I sort of got over that and like realized like being open with people and connecting and being vulnerable is so like strong and like important, that I just like music is both to me, it's power in that vulnerability. Like if I hear a good song, like my heart and I just get all warm and fuzzy inside, and it makes me feel awesome and great. And music is just so great and wonderful. I love music.
I can feel you like warming up because like, oh, you just want to play something right now. Yeah. What's your go-to song right now?
My go-to song. Okay, I've been listening to a lot of Dua Lipa lately.
Okay.
She is like, cause she's just like fun pop. And she released her new album, and it's just like really like 90s pop music, but like brought to like modern times, and it just makes you want to dance. And like right now, like I just been really into like like music that makes me feel like wanting to dance and like happy because of also like everything that's been going on. But yeah, so like listening to a lot of her, and then a lot of Mitski still because she's great. The song "Francis Forever," which is in the play, is a very important song to me, and it's still like I don't get tired of listening to that song. So I've been listening to that and Dua Lipa. Um, yeah, she's fun.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, my friend, I can't think of another playwright I want to talk to right now during a pandemic. So thank you so much for accepting to come on and taking some time. I really do appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's been fun.
Thank you. Hey everyone, thanks again for listening to this episode of You Have a Minute, a daily isolated podcast. My thanks to Dani Monico for coming on and taking some time to talk to me. They are a great playwright. I'm not even kidding. Like, I love a lot of their work, and and like they said, it is a very different kind of music when I listen to their work. And I feel very emotional by the end of it, or even during it, whenever it's a one act. Or we read a play of theirs last night called Psychomotor, and it was beautiful. And I wish them nothing but the best, and I cannot wait to see some of their work, because they have a great talent for it. Like, my God, I'm very excited right now just thinking about the play again. It was such fun. As always, wash your hands, wear a mask, flatten the curve, listen to your governors. Let's flatten this damn curve. And I will talk to you later.